Welcome back to Animated English Story. Today's story is about a billionaire who had everything but still felt empty. Welcome back to with no happiness, and a poor girl with a pure heart. When their worlds collide, everything changes. He was a billionaire living in luxury.
Hello?
But one meeting with a simple girl changed his life forever.
Ethan Carter stood on the balcony of his 80th floor penthouse. Below him, New York City pulsed with a million lights, a sea of energy and life. But inside, his office desk remained cold and dark. He turned away from the glass, looking at a living room filled with designer furniture that had never been used. He walked to the kitchen, his footsteps echoing like gunshots against the marble floors. He placed his phone on the counter, staring at the glass, waiting for a flicker of light. No notifications, no messages. Just a black mirror. He pulled an old paperback from the shelf, only to shove it back. He began to pace. 1, 2, 3. 32 steps from the window to the door. He gripped the door handle, but the world outside felt 1,000 miles away. He sat on the edge of his bed, watching the digital clock bleed red numbers until 3 a.m. Standing back at the glass, he pressed his forehead against the cold pane, watching the cars crawl like ants. He took a breath and whispered, "Is this it?" There was no answer, only the hum of the air conditioner. Ethan reached for the switch and turned off the lights, leaving the city to watch him vanish into the dark. Rain lashed against the windows of the quiet street, a relentless gray curtain. Ethan pushed open the heavy wooden door of the local cafe. The bell above chimed a lonely note. Inside, the air smelled of roasted beans and damp coats. He sat at a corner table, his expensive suit looking out of place. Lily emerged from behind the counter, wiping her hands on a worn apron. She walked over with a tired grace. "Good evening, sir. What would you like to order?" she asked. Ethan stared at her, noting the fatigue in her eyes. He did not look at the menu. "Just coffee," he replied. She returned with a steaming ceramic mug. As she set it down, her fingers brushed his hand. Ethan froze. He looked up, and their eyes locked for a fleeting, heavy second. He leaned back, his hand trembling slightly against the scarred wood. The silence of the cafe pressed in around them, thick and sudden. The restless pace of his life finally stopped. He picked up the mug, the heat radiating into his palms. He watched her walk away, finally finding the calm he had lacked for a decade. The cafe bell chimed at 6 p.m. sharp, a cold metallic ring that signaled his arrival. Ethan walked in, bypassing the counter without a word. He took his usual seat in the corner, a ghost in the bustling room. He did not order. He simply waited. He watched the steam rise from the cup Lily set down. For weeks, this was their silent routine. He never checked his phone or looked at the patrons. Lily wiped the counter, her eyes constantly darting back to his solitary, shadowed figure, wondering about the man behind the mug. She finished her shift and untied her apron. Taking a breath, she walked over and pulled out the chair opposite him. Ethan looked up, his fingers wrapped tightly around the porcelain. "Are you always alone?" Lily asked, her voice low and steady. Ethan shifted, his gaze flickering toward the window as he offered a thin, tight smile. "Yes, I guess I just got used to it." Lily leaned forward, her elbows on the worn wood. "That sounds sad," she said, her honesty cutting through the air. Ethan froze, searching her face for a hidden motive, but he found only stillness. He let go of the mug. His shoulders finally dropped. For the first time in years, he did not look at the door. He looked at Lily. The neon sign above the cafe flickered with a rhythmic hum. Lily wiped the mahogany table, her knuckles white from the weight of a double shift. Across the room, Ethan sat in the corner booth, his coffee growing cold and untouched. In the silence of the late hour, the world felt heavy and small. Lily sat across from him, the words finally spilling out. She spoke of hospital bills piling high and nights spent listening to her mother's struggle for breath. She mentioned the nursing textbooks read by candlelight. Ethan listened intently, never once checking his watch, his eyes fixed on her trembling hands. "I wish life was easier," Lily whispered, staring at the floor. "Sometimes I feel like giving up." Ethan stood, his chair scraping against the tiles. He blocked the light, his voice steady as he said, "Don't. People like you are stronger than you think." With a faint smile, she watched him walk away. He stepped into the rain, pulling his coat tight. With a few taps on his phone, the hospital balance vanished. For months, he had been her silent guardian, erasing her debts while remaining a stranger in the corner. He vanished into the darkness, leaving Lily with a secret she would never. The cafe was quiet as Lily wiped a ceramic mug, lost in thought. Suddenly, the television flickered. A headline flashed. Billionaire CEO Ethan Carter expands global empire. Lily froze, the rag slipping from her hand. The man in the sharp suit on screen was her Tuesday regular. Her heart hammered against her ribs as the image faded. That evening, the bell chimed. Ethan walked in, shaking rain from his umbrella with a familiar smile. But Lily did not bring his coffee. She dropped a newspaper onto his lap, the headline staring back at him. "Why did you lie?" she whispered, her voice tight with betrayal. Ethan stood up, his chair scraping harshly. "I wanted to be just Ethan to you," he said, his voice low and desperate. "Not a bank account, not a company." Lily retreated, her back hitting the counter. "I spent months believing you were just a struggling student. I do not know who you are." She threw her apron onto the table and grabbed her coat. Lily pushed through the door, vanishing into the cold rain. Ethan stood alone in the center of the cafe, the untouched coffee cup rattling on its saucer as the door swung shut, leaving only silence behind. Lily walked out of the office, leaving Ethan standing alone in the suffocating silence of the boardroom. She slammed the door, her hands trembling violently as she pressed the elevator button. Since that day, she blocked his number and took a different route to work. Fleeing his shadow, Ethan sat at his mahogany desk, staring at the empty chair across from him. He stopped signing contracts and canceled every meeting. His assistant knocked, but Ethan ignored the growing stack of papers. He spent hours watching city lights through a glass of scotch, feeling the weight of his isolation. The wealth that once bought him everything now felt like lead in his veins. He walked into his private vault and touched the cold metal of his safe. In that frozen moment, he realized no amount of cash could ever buy back that specific, haunting look in Lily's eyes. He was a king of nothing. In her cramped kitchen, Lily watched the rain. Every phone buzz made her heart race, but she gripped the table until her knuckles turned white. She imagined his world of cameras and galas, then looked at her simple, worn-out shoes. She chose the shadows, choosing quiet safety over his...